My name is Mary Young. Today I would like to spend some time talking about the history of women's suffrage. The heroes quotation on this first slide is one of my favorites. Another definition of heroes? Those people who do what is right when no one is watching. This second slide shows women's suffragettes at a conference in Chicago in 1880. The campaign for women's suffrage began in earnest in the decades before the Civil War. The modern movement for women's suffrage originated in France in the 1780s and 1790s. It gained momentum in the 1850s, led by abolitionist activists such as Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Alice Paul. What is suffrage? It is the right of women to vote and hold office. The term is also used for the economic and political reform movements aimed at extending these rights to women. In 1979, the United Nations, under the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, instated women's suffrage as a right. There was a diversity of views on women's suffrage. I've shown 5, but the standout for me is number 3. It says that women should be equal in every way. There is no such thing as a woman's natural role. The dates listed here are a table of international women's suffrage dates. In the interest of brevity, I listed the first 10 countries out of 135 who allowed women to participate by voting in elections. The complete list is available by accessing women's suffrage in Wikipedia. The popular minimum age for voting among the 135 countries was 18. The lowest age was 16. Shown here is Susan B. Anthony. She dedicated her life to universal suffrage as well as property rights, the abolition of slavery, and temperance. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, along with abolitionist and temperance activist Lucretia Motto, organized the first women's rights convention in 1848 in Seneca Falls, New York. I included a Brit in the mix to acknowledge that this was an international movement. I wanted to include Emmeline Pankhurst as she was a doer. She sold her home and traveled constantly giving speeches in the U.S. and Britain. Alice Paul was the most militant suffragette. She advocated, quote-unquote, unladylike tactics such as civil disobedience and hunger strikes. This presentation would not be complete without mentioning Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor chaired the John Fitzgerald Kennedy administration's groundbreaking committee, which helped start second-wave feminism. Ironically, she opposed the Equal Rights Amendment because she believed that it would adversely affect women. The Equal Rights Amendment has not passed to this day. The entire month of March is Women's History Month, which few women celebrate as it is little known. Let's make it a point to not only celebrate women's accomplishments in March, but all year round. Thank you for your time today.